It's nice here.
In the studio?
In
Yeah.
the wilderness.
There were some bugs in here earlier.
Hanging out with these birds and this woodland spirit? What is this? What is Ori?
The heart of the tree.
A sprite? A nymph?
What was I think a nymph is appropriate.
Okay.
It's a Pokemon ghost, right?
Sure. They're making a new Ori game.
Yeah.
Remember Ori and the Blind Forest?
Oh,
Yes.
do I?
Would you believe that game came out 5 years ago?
Wow.
I know, like in my mind, it was like, oh, that was maybe 3 years ago or something. But
That was a long time ago.
yeah, no, that game, like the Xbox One was still a fairly new platform when that first Ori game came out.
Weird.
Now here we are. Yeah, Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah, you went and played this and
Yeah.
recorded this.
Yes, it's been just under 2 weeks since I went to play this, which might as well be a lifetime.
So you're seeing this for the first time.
Bear with me as I remember.
Leaves, weird.
No, I mean, I've spent days cutting down all this. I played 2.5, 3 hours of this game.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And this is kind of a highlight reel of just the first. So it's broken up into acts. I don't remember if the first game was split up like that or not. Basically, they're saying this game is way bigger than the first game.
Yeah.
Which of course they would, but also I remember that game being like a pretty tight 6-8 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
think
that
so.
sounds about
And they
right.
were saying this Act 1, which was where the if you wanted to stay all day, you could play through the whole Act 1 there at this event, but they were saying that's like 6 hours of content.
Yeah.
Just for Act 1.
I saw a headline this morning that said they're saying it's 3 times the size.
I would believe it. So they've added a lot to this. This is kind of a truncated version of the intro. If you remember the giant bird from the first game, the villain, which turned out to actually just be a mom bird
Yeah.
trying to protect her.
There are no villains in the
Nobly,
forest.
yeah, nobly gave her life, etc., etc. Yeah, it was a strong moral at the end of that game. Anyway, this is one of her only child. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I
if
was
there were-
heavily sedated when I played through this game, so my memory's a little spotty.
I guess this was the only one. I was thinking there were multiple offspring at the end of the first game. Anyway,
One per sequel.
Yes.
They're starting with this one.
yes.
Real Guardians of Gahul situation.
Anyway, I cut around different parts of this, but she wants to fly,
Man.
There's an upgrade
and
path for that.
she has like a broken wing.
She has to go through like 3 different dungeons, get the orb.
You need to take that broken wing she's got and she can learn to fly again.
Learn to tiptoe around it. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, is this you playing?
Yes.
What was it like running to the left like this?
Yeah, usually
great.
games you
Feels
start
great.
running to the right.
That wall run is amazing.
It's like Pitfall all over again.
Game plays super well. I put this part in here in the intro to drive home the fact that this is still a Metroidvania. Are we still saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't. Yes.
I don't
There's
understand the pushback. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone knows
I mean,
what it
it's kind of wordy. It's got a lot of syllables, but
Yeah, and I think
fine with
there's always a desire to, like, you should be able to describe a genre without having to have knowledge of two other
fair
games.
Yeah.
fair. But all the like item-based exploration platformer that I've
Yeah,
seen.
those are all way
that's not-
worse.
nope.
Those are all way worse.
Anyway, so I threw this in here. This seems to be a partial abilities,
Okay.
if I had to guess, because they let you play with this for about 30 seconds and then you lose it. It's that thing.
Oh yeah.
Was that in the first game?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember, but yeah, they give you this, but then you don't get it when the actual game starts. I just wanted to throw that in here, basically to highlight the fact that, like, yes, it is still one of those.
Right.
But I went
yeah.
into this. I had forgotten this game was coming out because it's been so long.
Well, yeah, I want to say, didn't they pushed it off at some
I think
point
so.
too, didn't they? Yeah.
I think so. B, even when they emailed like, "Hey, come play this game," I was like, "Oh right, that's coming out. I'll go check that out. I like the first one. I bet it's another one of those." And then I got there, and where I'm going with this is they kind of added a lot to this. Like, it is not just another, because that first game was like pretty linear or very linear.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was a pretty straightforward A to B to C.
There was some exploration.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, there's secrets to find, stuff like that. But there's a lot more to this one than I expected. Which you'll see shortly.
still looks real good.
Yeah, so especially, I mean, this is still, video intro
this is
stuff, but even when we get into the game, I was playing it when I was there, and I was like, okay, yeah, this looks, I mean, yes, this looks amazing, but this is kind of how I remember the first game looking.
Yeah.
And then I went back and watched our quick look of the first one after I came back here.
Yeah.
I think this looks way better. Like, it's not like the first game looks bad, but...
what was this running on? What were you playing
on
this on?
PC,
Okay.
actually. They had this running at 4K. We captured it at 4K. I mean, I had to bust
Oh,
it.
you lost the feather almost.
Had to bust it down to 1080 for this, but yeah, it was the Windows version of the game running at full 4K. So that's kind of the setup. Like, she learns to fly again, and you head out on adventures, and then you end up in a bad place and don't know where she is. Yeah, but man, like, just playing this game, like, the word that came to mind was sumptuous. Like, it just looks so ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Sumptuous.
The perspective stuff they do.
Yeah,
in these
all the
games
foreground
is
stuff and just the amount of like just look at the fucking environment.
The weather
It's
effects.
just so ridiculously detailed and lush.
Yeah.
Here's what I remember really sticking out in that first game. Great looking, great music,
Yeah.
and really tight controls.
Yes, yes, all of that is here for
Great.
sure.
Wonderful. I'm sold.
Gareth Coker, the composer, was at the event. I didn't get to speak to him, but I had to resist the urge to just like run up to him, all gushing, just like, I really like your work at this game. It's very good. But I think the soundtrack is incredible from the first game. This definitely has more of that. All right, so I threw this bit in here because it's kind of more of a melee game. So you played through the first game a lot more recently than I did, I think.
Yes, I played through December of 2018.
Okay, so you're fairly fresh.
I was on a lot of medications because I was recovering from surgery, but I will answer any question.
So I mean, the torch is not like your main weapon, but it does kind of foreshadow the type of combat that's in this
Yeah.
game, because it's a lot more melee heavy than what I remember the first
Okay,
one.
yeah.
The first one, you just had that weird, like, detached, like, orb
You're almost like
thing.
snapping
Yeah.
the orb out, kind of, yeah.
Some kind of Rayman shit of it's not really connected to your body.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is much more about weapons, from what I've seen.
Finally.
Yeah.
I like it when video games really get into weapons.
Yes. About more tangible melee type stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see, like,
Yeah.
there's just a lot more depth.
Because it was the orb would follow you around, and you could press the button to make it zap anything it was near.
Right.
And that was your primary
This is
attack.
much different than that. Another thing. I think this is it.
The first game have, I know, voice acting
I
like
don't
this.
like there were not a ton of character interaction either that I
Yeah.
remember. This game has a shitload of NPCs. And quests.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
there's straight up NPCs, and a bunch of them are vendors all over the place.
Oh, weird.
There's like an economy to this game. There are there are main quests, side quests. There are like what they call rumors, which are kind of tertiary, like little challenge quests. There are straight up like combat challenges and race missions in this, like a freaking open world game.
Yeah. Well, what sort of stuff are you getting from the vendors? Is it almost like a Hollow Knight type situation? Like, is that how an economy and all that?
I really should play Hollow Knight. Like, if we're at the point where we're referencing Hollow Knight
I'm sorry, I'll never bring it up
as
again.
a touch. No, I mean, like, as a touchstone for this kind of game, I should really get that under my belt.
So I don't think highly enough of Hollow Knight to think that I would call it a touchstone, but
Oh,
it
okay.
did have. I know I'm in the minority on that, but
Not in this room.
okay then. All right. Hell yeah.
I was gonna play. I actually was. Hollow Knight was like my #1 game to play over the holiday, and instead I played no games.
Hey, that's just as nice.
But it's like at the top of my kind of backlog.
Did not care for it, but it was definitely like there was an aspect of it that was like I need to just go kind of, especially early on, it does change. But there's like I need to go grind out currency so I can go buy a map, so I can go buy like a useful item.
Okay, let's say maybe this game is taking some cues from Hollow Knight then.
Okay. Though I wonder, I mean, this game's been in development for quite some time.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's not necessarily coming from Hollow Knight.
No,
it's
no,
just
no,
a similar
right.
thing.
No,
Yeah,
but a lot of the stuff you just rattled off is pretty familiar, having played some of this.
Okay.
Are there, okay, does that mean that there are, can you wander into an area and it doesn't populate your map?
Yes.
Oh!
Well,
No! No!
Brad, Ben and I are leaving.
Wait, hold up. Are you saying it doesn't fill in the map as you explore?
Yes.
Oh no, it totally does that.
Okay.
Every time I pull up the map here, like anywhere I've been.
Hollow Knight didn't do that, right?
Does it really not?
You had to buy them. You had to find.
I think you had to buy them.
So here's your.
Okay. We can't keep talking about Hollow Knight. People will get mad.
We'll get to all that stuff. That's sort of spread out. This is all basically like in chronological order that I played it, so you're kind of seeing this stuff as you would discover it in the game.
Yeah.
These are your kind of Chozo statues. Here I go, just
Yeah.
referencing these games again.
It's the problem with the genre.
Yeah.
You could have just called it a save point.
Yeah.
But Chozo is a cool word.
It's pretty good.
It just makes me hungry.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen those aliens? They're big birds. I bet they're delicious.
Yeah, they're a snack. No, it just makes me want like a nice chorizo sandwich or something, you know, something.
Yeah. Something the Ori games did really well, especially with their art, was kind of each zone had a very different feel to it. Like the fiery zone had a really nice red palette color.
Yeah, like really strong, like distinctive color palette.
Yeah, it seems like this game's nailing that too.
For sure. So this is the main weapon. And it's a straight up fucking energy
You
sword.
got a sword!
And I think that's...
Energy Sword Sunday all week long.
And so they've got those assignable button prompts down there.
Yeah.
And I think, so like I only have the first ability here, but you can straight up like, you're gonna get, I assume, as many abilities as there are pips on this wheel.
Sure.
And then you literally just assign them to face buttons.
Okay.
And those are all different weapons and attacks and abilities and stuff like that. So...
Did you see any, I mean, maybe we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But did you get any abilities that were not combat?
yeah, there is a heal ability that we'll get here in a second.
Okay.
That, and it does, I mean, you can pause at any time and swap out the assigned buttons or abilities, but like it does lead to a situation of like, do I want to give up one of my attacks being ready at an instant so I can have this heal equipped?
Right.
Yeah.
Or do I want just a bunch of offensive abilities? Like there's just a lot more choices in this about playstyle and stuff.
Yeah, it really seems like they're trying to not just make another Ori. I mean, it has all those things in there that you want from Ori, but they could have made a very safe sequel.
Yeah.
Like another 8-hour game without any of this stuff.
And I think that's sort of what it looked like.
Yes.
Yeah, as they showed it. It's very easy to look at it and go like, oh yes, of course, they're making another Ori. It seems like another Ori.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I expected going into this. Another thing, perks.
Okay.
So, what do they call them? They call them spirit shards here. This is the first one. This is a very light example. They just makes the pickups fly to you. But a lot of these are more movement and combat based. Actually.
Oh, wow.
So there's also this. I believe all the pips at the bottom are for collectibles, for like health upgrades and stuff. This stuff up here seems more story based items. All that stuff at the top. So that seems like a lot of stuff to find. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I cut this myself, not really thinking about how I was going to talk over it. Finding that there's like a lot of air to fill here, but
hey.
yeah. So I think this is another perk here. Like pretty quickly here, we'll start getting into the actual meat of the game. I just wanted to kind of set up all the different stuff they've added here.
Yeah.
So this
Did
one
it
is
seem
like
weird to you at all that like how far into the game is this?
oh right here.
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes probably.
Like give you the double jump 20 minutes in.
Yeah,
like,
hell
why
yeah.
not
Well,
just start with it?
Well, because
maybe.
they escalate it.
Maybe.
I love that in a Metro. Double jump is the most satisfying ability to
Like
use.
the movement in this game is some
No,
of the
but I'm
best.
saying just start with it.
So like that stick to walls perk is I had equipped the entire time I was there because otherwise you sort of scramble down walls and you have to keep jumping to stay on there.
I wonder, you know, if you think about these games as something you're going to want to like 100% the map and do all this stuff, like I wonder how much just perk switching you'll have to do, where it's like, oh, to find this secret, I need the wall stick equipped and this and this, so I can get up this wall to do this.
Oh, well, those were all like wall stick looks like it's a passive ability that just
That is.
have.
Oh,
But you do have to have it equipped.
Yeah, you have like a
And you have
loadout
a
of
number. I'm totally missed that. You have a number of
It looked like there were
passives you can have equipped.
three passives.
Three slots, but
okay.
there's a way to get more slots that we'll get to
Okay, I
later
see.
on. They thought of everything, it seems. Here's the map. I mean, so
Oh no, this is.
It auto maps as you explore, but then apparently this dude's going to be hanging out in each major zone, so you can just buy the rest of the map.
If you die, do you lose anything?
But see, like this is that Hollow Knight? See, it already mapped everything I did. It's just filling in. That's
I'd have to go back.
That's just standard Metroid map rules.
Yes,
Yeah.
Which I think Hollow Knight did not have.
And that's, and even Super Metroid had like the map kiosk
Right.
of like, hey, you found the map for this zone.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
We're gonna fill in everything you haven't found.
Right.
What happens? What do you lose if you die?
So I've got a couple deaths in here, but the checkpointing is way more generous.
Okay.
It seems to checkpoint every like 30 seconds.
You don't lose any like money or anything.
Not that I could tell.
All right.
I've got when I die we can check for sure, but it seems to respawn you practically right where you were. All right, so we're getting into the meat of it a little more here. I can exercise some editorial oversight here and maybe speed through this dialogue a little bit.
Okay.
Oop.
Monkey with a staff, big scary bird. Yeah.
Check. Okay.
I get it.
So this dude just seems to be the combat vendor.
Okay. Sell me some combat.
I know kung fu.
So you're straight up buying new attacks, not necessarily like tangible weapons, but like that's the heavy, like that's a heavy attack. Like that, what is that? That's like a projectile spear type thing.
Okay.
There's a boomerang in here. That first one, if you didn't see, is like an option, like a Gradius option, just like a thing that hovers around and attacks.
What are you gonna choose?
I couldn't decide. I really couldn't decide.
I would go with the thing that doesn't use energy.
That's exactly where I landed. Boom. And that thing turned out to be super useful.
Spirit Shrine seems what, like a little Breath of the Wild shrine, maybe?
No, that I believe. So there's a rumor that basically you hear about stuff and you go find it.
It's a little combat
I
trial.
want to say the spirit shrines are the combat arenas.
Yeah, that's what I meant, like the combat arena.
Yeah. The race missions were disabled in this build. Like I found a couple of the start points for them, but they said that they just weren't in.
A little buggy or something.
I think they had manually turned them off, but I kind of wanted to see what a race would be like in this thing. But
They had like, I remember the first Ori having a few stages that were like, you have to hit this button and then get out of this room as fast as you can so by using all your movement skills. So I assume it's something like that, but with
and again, I'm kind of, it's the way I cut this, it's taking a little while to sort of get to the point where I've got everything, but that was partially because I hit a point where there was a specific ability that really cinched it for me. Like all of a sudden I have like what felt like kind of the, I don't know, the movement kit.
Yeah.
You know, the toolbox. I was
Totally.
like, okay, now the real Ori just started. Kind of.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to in a second. But maybe that's why they decided to separate out the double jump. Like they just want you to experience this ramp of getting all these different mobility moves. Oop.
Oh.
Pretty nicely annotated map.
Oh yeah, breakable floor, it just says it right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, little side questy stuff like that.
Okay, is that
Alright.
like the...
Basically bow and arrow.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So I cut it out, but I've got the heal ability there. I've got that heavy attack I bought.
Yeah, wow, this
And so does pulling the left trigger bring up that wheel that lets you assign stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could do it mid-fight. In fact, there is some of that later.
Yeah. And you only have the 3 buttons, right? There's no like shift, like action palette,
Not
like
that I
secondary.
saw.
Okay.
Unless maybe they add, that actually would be super useful if maybe they add that later. I don't know.
It was like, hey, if you're holding down the right trigger, these 3 buttons do something different. And
That
like,
would actually be kind of great if that's in here. I'm not sure.
Okay.
E-tank up.
Yeah, so So that spirit energy, I can't remember how it was in the first game, but that governs everything here. So like, all the spirit attacks use it, but you can also cash a bunch of it in on that heal ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And does it regain over time?
I believe it. Well, it may. It definitely pops out of enemies.
Okay.
So this is pretty basic stuff, but they get into a lot more like aerial and timing based, kind of having to hit these things to do stuff.
And I like that they're iterating on the combat, but they're still incorporating it into the exploration with that bow and arrow being not only just a bow and arrow, but a tool for solving these areas.
Right.
The Zelda approach. Don't go in that guy's mouth.
Yeah.
Might be something good in there.
Halitosis.
This is a mean thing to say about this dude.
He's been there forever. I bet he's a little stinky.
Yeah, okay, sure. Looks pretty dank in there.
Yeah.
And hotboxing that giant stone frog.
Gross.
I'm learning a lot about how to edit these clips together expeditiously to make it move a little faster. But that's fine. This is another vendor. So this guy is selling. Some of these are outright perks that go in those perk slots, and then others, I believe, are upgrades to the perks I already have.
Right. Yeah, because even that first perk you got, it said like next
it's-
level
yes.
it'll do this.
Yes.
And,
So
hey, triple jump.
Yeah, but you note that triple jump is quite expensive.
Yeah.
Stuff is expensive in this. Like I very quickly ran out of those, the money, whatever the money is. And
Are you primarily getting that from fighting enemies? Are you finding
yes,
it?
you also find big bundles of them in the environment all over the place. But yeah, enemies drop them.
Did it seem like a situation where you would want to just like grind or?
You could. I mean, enemies respawn all over the place, so you
Yeah.
certainly could if you wanted to.
What if I don't want to?
Yeah.
Did you get the impression that
It definitely seemed like you would have plenty if you just wanted to keep trucking.
Yeah,
But you wouldn't get everything.
that's fine.
Definitely nowhere near everything if you wanted to.
I feel like it would be a situation where I'd probably just want to like play it, and then if you get to a
that's-
situation where it's like, oh, I'm actually having trouble now. I guess I should stop and grind.
Yeah, or if there's something that I really wanted.
Yeah.
So we'll get to it, but there's other stuff to cash resources in on. There's kind of a lot in this. Just threw this in here because I just got worked by these guys. There's the heal.
happened to your bow?
That's the heal. I kind of forgot I had the bow.
We've all been there.
Most part. I don't know, I kind of had it in my head that the bow was a puzzle solving and mobility tool, not a thing to kill enemies with.
You're just a pacifist.
And then,
Oh,
pretty unforgiving game, but also that's the checkpoint.
oh, beautiful.
Like, yeah. Because I think didn't you have to like manually throw down checkpoints in the first game?
yeah.
Isn't that how that worked? So it's not like that anymore.
You could. There were normal checkpoints at like the start of every area.
Okay, yeah, so this is way more generous than that, which is... Okay, so the dash is the ability I was talking about that was like, okay, now this game feels like a video game. Like, it's a fucking great dash. Like, it's super quick.
Ooh, yeah, I like it.
And I proceeded to immediately not use it to its full effect. But you can really, like, you just whip through this stuff.
Oh, and the way the music picks up after
Yeah.
you get an upgrade.
Yeah.
Is
So, like, immediately I got in here and I was like, okay, now this game is, like, really trucking.
Yeah.
Like, you start,
Oh, yeah.
So there's that heavy hit, and, like, you can attack up and down. You can slam with the heavy onto the ground and stuff like that. Like, it just started loosening up in a way that I was like, okay, this is starting to feel really good. I've got one of those combat shrines toward the end of this, but like, it's kind of, maybe it's a little bit of a stretch, but I was almost starting to get a little bit of like a Devil May Cry, like a combat, like a character action feel of just like, I've got a ton of different abilities and I'm very mobile and I'm kind of just keeping this flow going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the first game had a lot of that, I guess, but it's just so much more to the combat now.
I'm glad that they could they could add more combat, but also, yeah, momentum and flow are like the two words I would use to describe the first game. So the fact that they could keep that feeling is great.
And like, you can start to see this is...
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing
Yeah,
here.
it's cool.
Also, I love a game where the hazards hurt enemies as well as you.
Oh, yeah.
I love games where like the rules apply to everything.
Yeah.
So you can like knock enemies onto the spikes to kill them and stuff. I had a little thing going on here where seemed like I was hitting both of my jumps coming off that lip. I'm not getting the double jump.
I like the way it pulls out a little bit when you enter like a big platforming section.
Yeah, so it's the type of money pickups in the environment.
I had a blast with the first one. I remember it getting pretty difficult.
Yeah, this game is very unforgiving. Like, I died way more than you have seen in this, for sure. Also, it's got the Mario 64 stand on one hand on the top of a pole kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to see.
How'd you find the enemy variety?
Pretty good. I didn't get anywhere near the end of Act 1 from what I could tell. It's, you know, it was good. 6, 8, 10 different types of enemies I saw.
Cool.
Definitely didn't need more footage of talking to the map dude, but here we are. All right, so I feel like here is where I really start getting a feel for the combat. So you can kind of just sort of stay airborne.
Right, it seems like you can really mash it out and, and hover.
As you're hovering in the air, you can really, that's kind of where I was getting the Devil May Cry stuff.
Yeah.
Of just kind of get a lot of aerial combos and stuff going.
Does it track combos or anything like that? Or?
No, I don't mean like from a
no, I know, yeah.
standpoint.
I'm just saying, yeah.
You mentioned, so they kind of confirmed that something in those first games was those big set pieces where you kind of had to like run away from something. They confirmed
Like
that those are coming back.
Oh, did they? The bit you're talking like the big escape sequences?
Yeah.
Like the one where you're inside the big tree and it floods and you have to...
Yeah.
You probably remember this ability from the first game.
Yeah, this was like the main bash.
Yeah.
That's what it was, yeah. Main traversal thing, because you would shoot out your little orb and then you could bash off of it.
There was a very short one of those escapey kind of sequences at the very beginning of the game that I didn't put in here, but other than that, I didn't see anything like that.
Okay. Maybe they figured out how to make those a little less...
Yeah, those were very trial and error for me in the first game. Like, they look very cool, but it just kind of breaks the momentum as soon as you die 5 times.
Right. Like, cool visually, cool music always, and then like, oh, this is my 8th time restarting
it again.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
That's not my favorite.
Yeah, there we go. This is the Ori I know.
Yep. All right, we get the point.
And we're running, and
we're bashing. Love that hitbox.
Yeah, the movement stuff looks really satisfying.
It feels really good.
And so there's like signposts in the world back there, which just shows you text like, hey, you're...
Yeah, different regions.
Okay.
Are there, what sort of fast travel options?
There are fast travel points.
Like between sectors?
Yeah, well, there are multiple ones within this zone that I found, at least like 3.
This is probably fine.
Oh, hey, it's...
Big Frog.
Another...
Big Frog. Kind of into this Big Frog.
Yeah,
don't go in this one's mouth.
Oh, shit.
Harunk.
You guys seeing this, or?
Seeing what?
This giant talking frog.
It's covered in mushrooms.
Bufo aloe-berries.
Yeah, those mushrooms taste pretty good.
All right, so we're almost at the end here. This was probably the biggest surprise I had playing this game, which is that you kind of have a home base.
Huh.
Like a little village that you build up.
Okay. You got some NPCs maybe
Yeah, so
joining in?
as far as I could tell, like all those vendors I was running into out in the world also hang out here.
This is very Shovel Knight, right? That was a big part. It was like having the surface level area. Eventually, people would come back up and repopulate the shops.
Or SteamWorld
Sorry,
Dig.
not Shovel Knight. Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
A lot of these games.
Yes, Hollow Knight.
Is that a Hollow Knight thing?
There was definitely like a come back to town element of that game, at least early on.
I should play Hollow Knight.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah. You know what? Give
Some
it a
people
go.
really like it.
Yeah. The people that like it really like it.
Or, you know, it sounds like I can play this and also get a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
like,
a honed version of some of those ideas
Yeah.
would certainly be welcome.
There are parts of Shovel Knight
there were
I
just
love.
parts of Hollow Knight that just did not click with me at all.
Yeah. Yeah, so all those disparate vendors seem to also be here. It's like a lot of quest stuff to do. I rolled in here and immediately picked up like 2 or 3 more quests.
Cool.
Really good old man bird sounds coming out of that guy.
Just kind of zoom through this a little bit. So this is like the big new thing in the base here. Is this dude runs a bunch of, or offers a bunch of construction projects.
Huh.
Except most of them were not filled in here, so I don't really know. Basically, I was picking up this ore. I don't know if you saw a couple times earlier. You're finding this ore out in the world, and you would get it for quest rewards here and there as well. And then once I got here, I was like, oh, that's what this ore is for. So you can spend 1 ore here and get the fast travel point right next to him.
What is that 8 ore thing?
That removes a bunch of the spiky vines all over the world.
Ooh.
So it's like a kind of an interesting mechanic of like, if I hunt down enough of these collectibles, I can like make things less of a pain in the ass out there. Which I thought was like kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I wonder how much less, or if it's like just the ones you're finding incidentally, or if it's like specifically like, hey, here's some areas, because I'm sure there are plenty of areas you can't get to until you get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I will say the very first side quest I picked up in the entire game, I could not finish until toward the end of this whole time I spent with it because I didn't have enough abilities. So they do seem to gate some of that stuff. Yeah, I kind of wish you could see more of those construction projects there because I think that's a pretty interesting idea of being able to like mod the world potentially.
Right, yeah.
With
That's
resources.
I wonder if more of them are like that, or if the rest of them are like, hey, you're going to build a thing here that's going to give you 1 extra pip of health, or something like that.
You can buy those. Those are like perks.
Right.
Actually, you get pips, or you find collectibles to get more health and spirit energy. So I would hope the construction stuff is a little more interesting than that.
Yeah, I mean
I would guess it's
that
like
one
quality
project
of life
looks
stuff.
yeah. It's a damn good looking game.
Yeah, it looks real good. I wonder how it's going to run. I remember the first game being a little chunky on the Xbox One when it came out. But
Right.
That was the original Xbox One.
Uh-huh.
Not even the S, much less the X.
Is this coming to Switch?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know.
I hope
Did the first one come out on Switch already, or is that still
I don't know if it did.
yet to happen? That might be a ways off.
You can play Hollow Knight on Switch.
I can't.
Oh, here we go. Here's another one of these.
Oh, right. Yes, I forgot about that.
People are going to move back
Okay,
in.
that might just get some new vendors or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It seemed the implication seemed like it would be that you'd be adding a lot to this area
Right.
specifically. There's that dude. Let's just kind of zoom past this. Well, let's see. Did we get some new ones of these here? You know, it's stuff like make your arrows splinter. Some stuff like that. Swap maximum life and energy seems like a weird one. I don't know if that's something you like do on the fly manually.
Huh.
Let's keep it moving.
Find the hat.
Found some collectings. So like here's another ore.
Yeah.
I would hope they're like fairly easy to come by. So it seems like you're gonna be spending a fair amount on them or on those projects.
Yeah, but if those things are really just kind of bonusy things like that, that could just be like a, hey, there are exactly enough of these to buy the construction project.
If you really want to do the work to find everything, then you can do all this stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess there's one of those that'll make finding the other ones easier.
That's possible. I thought this was kind of a neat,
Take back what you said.
I thought this was like kind of a neat stats display.
I love this.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Just give me everything on one screen.
It's like pretty granular data here.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if all this stuff, well, probably not all of it, but some amount of it manifests in the Xbox dashboard as well.
Oh, sure, probably, yeah.
Am I often thinking that they said that this is coming to Game Pass?
Yeah, everything, all their first party
Yeah,
releases
Microsoft published, so
They
yeah.
publishes this.
by default.
Yes, great. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's $30. It's out on the 11th of March, I want to say.
Okay.
But yes, Game
It's out on
Pass.
311.
Yes.
Oh,
If you're down.
That's why
Uh-huh.
this background is just giving me a lot of energy.
Yes.
Because it's amber. Mm-hmm. And that's the color of the energy.
Oh, really? Is it?
I figure this video is gonna end any second now.
So you're gonna keep talking about 311 until this video ends.
I got like 3 minutes left.
I don't have 3 more minutes of 311.
Man, if this game came out on the Switch, it'd be a lot easier to play it on the 311 cruise. That's all I know.
I literally can't name another 311 song.
Do they have a cruise?
Oh yeah.
Really? Yeah.
You know, your problem is you need to think more clearly. You're all mixed up, and you don't know what to do
That's true.
about all these 311 references that are in your head. And now I am out of 311 references.
I can't even remember their one big song.
Down.
Right. Okay. Okay, yes, now I don't call it. Ugh.
I'm sorry that you had to remember.
I'm
that.
sorry to everyone within the sound of my voice.
Everyone who made it to the end of the video.
We normally like to reward people with something fun at the end. Here's a bonus.
Boy, did we
Thanks for
deliver on
sticking
this
with
one.
us. But this is just a big ol' Nick Hexum-sized stink bomb. That's that guy's name, right?
Sure.
One of the dudes from 311.
The guy that we all love.
I thought that I cut this part out. This was that first quest that I was talking about that I picked up like 5 minutes into the game, and then drove myself crazy trying to finish.
Only to realize you couldn't.
Until I finally realized I needed the dash and all that stuff to actually do it. But
Did you do it?
here's that. Yes,
Are you doing it right now? Is this you doing it?
doing it. Got that Howl Fang.
You did it.
Seems like, well, I don't know. I guess this goes both ways. I was gonna say it's nice when games like this give you the information of you do not have what it takes to do this right now. And
Yeah.
some games do that on the map with like, hey, this is or like Jedi Fallen Order, the way that would handle some of that stuff.
This game definitely does not.
Banging
do
your
that.
head against a thing and not knowing that you don't have the thing to do it yet kind of comes with the territory in games like this a lot of the time. But
It
at the
can
same
be a
time,
bummer.
It can be a
I
bummer.
definitely spent a lot of time just wandering in this, not knowing where to go or what I should be doing.
Yeah. I think the
or
best.
how to, yeah. All right. So this is the end of the video, but this was the very last thing I did there, which is this pretty intense combat shrine. I feel like just gives you a good sense of like how much stuff I have built up at this point. Got light and heavy. I think I finally clued into the fact that you can attack downwards and stuff pretty well.
Can you bounce on an enemy's head over and over if you're above it, slashing downward?
That's a good question. Not full-on Scrooge McDuck.
Okay.
You can do that. I totally forgot you can use that bash ability to catapult off of enemies.
Yeah, I'm really liking what I'm seeing here.
Yeah,
I was already into this game, but you got me a little worried there for a second with the Hollow Knight business.
Yeah, no, I mean, even if it has those elements, they seem very streamlined and like well fit together.
Yes. And not detracting the core gameplay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
It's kind of a lot.
Seems like a decent number of enemies.
Yes, it's kind of a lot. If I don't know why I didn't bother to use my heal here. I was just about to do it, as you see there, as I equipped it, and then I died.
I thought you start right here.
Well, I cut out. You have to do the whole challenge over.
But you did. But you start. But when you respawn, you started
it
right.
literally starts you doing the challenge again.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's all instantaneous. They seem to have figured that part out.
Honestly, that was one of the biggest bummers of Hollow Knight, was having to retread everything to get your souls back.
None of that I've seen in this.
And not having a map. Just lost.
I like the enemies entering from the foreground thing.
Yeah,
it's a good touch.
Definitely cutting those dudes. Yay! First try.
Yep, totally. So the combat shrines are how you get more slots.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
cool,
so
cool.
for your passives
Yes.
then.
So
Right.
I believe at this point I have 5
Oh,
slots.
nice. All right. Yeah.
I'd already done 2 of these, so I don't know how many more you can get. It looks like there's room for a good number there.
Yeah.
So it seems like you can do a lot of customization. Like there's just a lot to customize in this game.
That's cool.
From the passives to all the different attacks you can buy and upgrades to get and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, for some reason, maybe it's just the way they present it on some of these menus and stuff, but it almost reminds me of Doom. With the way Doom handled some of that stuff.
Sure. Yeah, actually, it did made me think of the loadouts in Doom because it totally had that same passive perk kind of system. Yeah, I was like excited by default for this game going in, just like, okay, yeah, I'll play another one of those. But coming out of it, I was like, okay,
they've taken the time. They've used it. It seems like they've used it well.
They both streamlined and improved stuff that needed that, and also added a bunch of new stuff at the same time. And it's just there's a lot more to it than I thought there would be. And that's pretty exciting because it's out quite soon.
Great.
Yeah. Thanks, y'all.
All right. 311 album next out in stores.
March 11th.
March 11th.